Indiana Fever are facing the Chicago Sky, and they are playing, obviously, in the United Center. There are 20,000
basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball.
If you guys did not see, tickets sold out. And tickets sold out in 5 minutes. They sold out in 5 minutes.
No one saw it coming quite like this. One moment, the Chicago Sky were content playing at their usual home, Wintrust Arena. The next, they dropped a bombshell that 2 huge WNBA games were headed to the 21,000-seat United Center. But here's the real stunner. Both games feature the Indiana Fever, a team supercharged by the magnetic presence of Caitlyn Clark. Angel Reese, the rising star of the Chicago Sky, is fuming, and she's not shy about letting the world know. Why does it seem like only Clark's matchups get the star treatment? Some say it's favoritism. Others insist it's basic economics. What can't be denied is that a new kind of rivalry is building, not just on the court but in the stands. Angel believes fans turn up for her just as much as they do for Caitlyn, while the league's venue upgrades and record-smashing ticket sales tell a different story. Are we witnessing the dawn of a two-superstar era, or is Clark stealing a spotlight that Reese can't match? You'd expect big announcements before a new season, but this one caught even the most devoted fans off guard. The Chicago Sky declared they were relocating 2 of their regular season home games to the United Center. For those unfamiliar, Wintrust Arena seats around 10,000 people. Nice, but hardly enormous. The United Center, on the other hand, is a behemoth that can pack in more than 20,000 fans, nearly double the previous capacity. At first glance, this might seem like a straightforward decision to accommodate a growing fan base. The WNBA has been experiencing an uptick in attention in recent years, so maybe the Sky just wanted to welcome more supporters. But when reporters pressed the team about why only the Indiana Fever matchups were chosen, the official statements became noticeably vague. Phrases like rewarding fan passion and embracing the excitement of our supporters started circulating in press releases. They sounded pleasant, but careful listeners noticed one glaring omission. There was no mention of Angel Reese. The irony was immediate and jarring. Angel Reese joined the Sky with massive hype. Her fierce rebounding, vocal presence on social media, and quick comedic timing in interviews made her a fan favorite almost instantly. Chicago's front office seemed to want her to be the new face of the franchise. One would assume that any major shift in venue would revolve around the local star's biggest games. Yet, none of the upcoming Angel Reese nights at home were being moved to the larger arena. Instead, Caitlyn Clark's arrival triggered the venue swap. Right on cue, Angel Reese expressed her annoyance. She posed a brutally direct question to reporters. Why do we only move the games when the Fever come to town? Don't people show up for me too? It was an unfiltered moment that betrayed her disappointment and perhaps a tinge of envy. After all, she was being packaged as the future of the Sky, but the front office's actions suggested they were more interested in catering to a different star's massive draw. The Chicago Sky's president, Adam Fox, tried to smooth things over. He insisted it was just a coincidence that only Clark's games were targeted for an upgrade and that the team might explore more expansions in the future. But fans and analysts weren't buying it. They quickly pointed to the stark difference in attendance whenever Clark stepped on the court, even if the game was on the other side of the country. Coincidence? Hardly. It was shaping up to be an unmistakable symbol of Clark's influence, overshadowing Reese's considerable star power. And while Angel seethed, ticket sales soared. The buzz around these 2 relocated games skyrocketed, fueling social media speculation. Had the WNBA quietly settled on a single new face of women's basketball? Or was this purely about pragmatic profit margins? One thing was certain, people were paying attention. Far from defusing the controversy, the scheduling shakeup did the opposite. It put the Reese versus Clark debate on a grand stage. Angel Reese didn't tiptoe around how she felt. In interviews leading up to her second season, she claimed that her audience engagement was on par with Clark's. She pointed to her millions of followers on social media, the viral TikTok dances, and the countless headlines praising her as the next big thing. She even joked that if Caitlyn was considered the walking sellout, she was the stomping sensation, insinuating that fans flocked to see her in action just as eagerly. Yet the numbers behind the scenes didn't fully back her up. While her personal brand soared in certain circles, particularly on social media, her actual in-game attendance figures weren't causing the box office to crash. It's not that people refused to watch her play. It's just that there was no wave of fans clamoring for bigger arenas to accommodate them. Whenever the Sky performed at Wintrust Arena, they typically drew solid but not sensational crowds. Reese tried to push back against the idea that the relocation was all about Clark. In one memorable press conference, she declared, "Look, the WNBA is on the rise because of multiple stars, not just one. I'm part of that growth, too." She wasn't entirely wrong. Over the last few years, the league has seen noticeable spikes in television ratings, social media engagement, and overall visibility. Many fresh faces, and even some longtime veterans, have contributed to that. But the discrepancy in venue upgrades told a different tale. The league, or at least the Chicago Sky, seemed to see Clark's presence as the real jackpot. Some fans rallied to Reese's defense, accusing the team's front office of unfairly neglecting their own star. On social media, hashtags like #RespectAngel and #TeamReese started cropping up. Local sports radio featured debates about whether the Chicago Sky's marketing department was dropping the ball by not pushing Reese as aggressively. Sports columnists asked, why not move at least one Angel Reese game to the United Center to test the waters? Every time these questions arose, the silent response from management was deafening. No announcements were made to relocate any other Sky home games, and no new marketing campaign put Angel front and center in the city's sports discourse. Instead, official press releases kept circling back to that same carefully worded phrase. "We're excited to bring these particular matchups to the larger arena." It was as if the business decision had already been validated by a single name, Caitlyn Clark. To understand why only Clark's matchups are moving to larger venues, you have to dive deep into the numbers that have stunned league executives. Caitlyn Clark didn't merely arrive in the WNBA, she detonated the attendance records. In her rookie season, she and her Indiana Fever teammates shattered the league's long-standing benchmarks, drawing in waves of eager fans at home and away. Ardent supporters, casual observers, and even people who rarely watched women's sports found themselves intrigued by her court vision, fearless shooting, and unmistakable swagger. When Clark stepped onto a basketball court, arenas sold out, concession stands overflowed, and merchandise practically flew off the shelves. Even her pregame warm-ups attracted cameras and autographs hunting kids, creating a level of excitement some WNBA teams had only dreamed of. The numbers were undeniable. The Fever's home games recorded historically high attendance, but the Clark effect went beyond her home turf. Whenever Indiana traveled, opposing franchises noticed a significant boost in their own ticket sales. Some soared as much as 30 to 40% above their usual averages. It wasn't just hype, it was a real, quantifiable surge in consumer demand. Corporate sponsors took note too. Suddenly, brands that had been on the fence about investing in women's basketball started snatching up ad slots and jersey sponsorships. League commissioners lauded Clark for her remarkable impact, all while carefully avoiding language that would diminish the contributions of other players. Yet the subtext was clear. Caitlyn Clark was the face everyone wanted to associate with, the unstoppable force who brought new viewers and big money into the WNBA ecosystem. Angel Reese might claim she's an equal draw, but every time a new attendance record was announced or a new brand endorsement popped up, it was typically Clark's name that headlined a press release. This stark contrast became even more evident when the Fever faced the Sky last season. In the build-up, tickets were reselling for hundreds, sometimes thousands, of dollars as fans vied to see Clark perform live. Meanwhile, when the Sky hosted other teams, even those featuring Reese's personal rivals, tickets remained relatively easy to find. There was no avalanche of demand, no urgent reason to upgrade to a bigger arena. In a post-game interview that season, Clark was unassuming when asked about her fame. She attributed the spike in attendance to fans falling in love with the game, deflecting the spotlight from herself. Yet the league's actions spoke volumes. They were rearranging entire schedules and booking larger venues primarily to accommodate her presence. The WNBA had seen growth surges before, but rarely like this, sudden, dramatic, and enough to make even the most skeptical sports executives perk up. Once Chicago's decision went public, a domino effect unfurled. Other franchises started announcing that they, too, were relocating future matchups against the Indiana Fever to bigger arenas. Fans in Washington, D.C. learned that the Mystics would host the Fever in Baltimore's CFG Bank Arena, a larger venue than their regular spot. The Connecticut Sun announced plans to move one of their Fever games to Boston's iconic TD Garden. Meanwhile, the Las Vegas Aces, Atlanta Dream, and Dallas Wings all released statements hinting at similar upgrades for upcoming Clark appearances. On sports talk shows, analysts debated the significance of these moves. Was the WNBA finally getting the major arenas it deserved, or was this all about marketing one player above the rest? Conspiracy theories erupted online, with some fans suggesting that the league had struck secret deals to make Clark the centerpiece of a grand marketing overhaul. Others believed it was less about any single plan and more about a collective realization that Clark's star power translates into serious revenue. Angel Reese's supporters saw a darker angle. They claimed that the league was ignoring the potential of other emerging names and funneling all resources into Clark's promotional machine. They brought up times in the past when doubleheader events or special promotional nights could have boosted lesser-known but equally talented players, only for the league to default to the biggest name on the billboard. Skeptics fired back, insisting it was purely about ticket demand. Clark was simply the only player who had shown the ability to fill 20,000 seats. Behind the scenes, whispers in WNBA circles spoke to the tension building among players themselves. A few unnamed sources suggested that certain veterans felt overshadowed by the Caitlyn mania. Even a couple of well-established all-stars worried that the league was sliding into a one-dimensional marketing approach. Meanwhile, younger up-and-comers watched with awe, realizing this could reshape their own earning potential if they learned to harness a fraction of Clark's drawing power. Oddly enough, league officials remained tight-lipped. The official WNBA spokesperson released a measured statement praising the outstanding level of talent this season, but steered clear of naming Clark or Reese specifically. Instead, they framed the venue changes as evidence of the league's overall growth and popularity. Still, nobody was fooled. Clark was at the heart of every conversation, every website's highlight reel, and every sponsor's dream scenario. The online world exploded the moment the Chicago Sky revealed their upgraded United Center games. Within hours, hashtags and memes flooded platforms across the internet. One viral post summed up the sentiment succinctly. So the Sky can't be bothered to move any of Angel's home games, but they'll roll out the red carpet for Caitlyn Clark? Another tweet responded, maybe if Angel spent more time dropping three-pointers instead of dropping TikToks, she'd fill the seats too. Comment sections across YouTube, sports news sites, and community forums turned into battlegrounds. Supporters of Clark argued that the math was unequivocal. More seats were needed because more people wanted to see her. Angels fans, in contrast, thought the league should be nurturing multiple stars to broaden appeal. They stressed that the obsession with one marquee player could actually limit growth down the road. Where does this heated rivalry leave the WNBA as a whole? For one, the league has never been in a brighter spotlight. Die-hard basketball fans are tuning in at record levels, and even sports viewers who typically only watch the NBA are starting to flip channels to catch Clark in action, or to keep tabs on Reese's bold statements. This heightened visibility could elevate the entire league, creating opportunities for more players, more franchises, and more expansion into untapped markets. That said, the imbalance in star treatment has already stirred talk of potential friction behind the scenes. Some veterans who paved the way for the current wave of talent might feel overshadowed. Others may applaud Clark's success, hoping that her rise lifts all boats. Young prospects see a chance to ride the momentum if they can capture even a fraction of the hype Clark commands. In a broader sense, fans of women's basketball can't help but wonder whether the focus on one or two players is short-sighted. Growth might be more sustainable if the league pushes multiple athletes and rivalries simultaneously. Then again, star-led leagues often see the fastest gains when a transcendent figure emerges, someone who lights up scoreboards and captivates headlines the way Clark does. Ultimately, the direction the WNBA takes will hinge on how effectively it can harness this star power while ensuring the rest of its talent isn't left behind. So, where do we stand? The Chicago Sky's decision to move 2 games to the United Center sparked a massive debate about star power, fairness, and the economics underpinning the WNBA. Angel Reese's frustration highlights a deeper tension. In a league eager to grow, is there room for multiple megastars, or will Caitlyn Clark's unprecedented drawing power overshadow everyone else? Keep the conversation going and let your voice be heard. After all, every comment, every ticket purchase, and every heated debate is shaping the future of the WNBA. Whether you're rooting for Reese, reveling in Clark's dominance, or simply hoping to see the entire league flourish, there's never been a more pivotal moment. The next chapter in this saga is right around the corner. It promises to be every bit as electrifying as what we've witnessed so far.